Hey guys, welcome back to Landscape Alert, where this week we are going to be talking about some landscape, but in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which I happen to be there to visit some friends and whatnot. But I wanted to show you guys some of the things that I find that could be really interesting, especially if you're in that area. Now, keep in mind that over there, lots of the area will not have water, and because of that you want to use plants that are going to survive there. So here is the footage of what most of the time you are going to find there. You're going to find some very native shrubs, including grasses and some cactuses and whatnot, aloe veras and that kind of low water plants that can grow there, succulents, that kind of thing. So, how do you make this an interesting scape, especially if it's this small of an area? Of course, we don't want to touch any of these guys, so we're gonna leave them alone. So, let's get to the design as to what would improve this area. Honestly, not much is needed to make this area even nicer. Now, the one thing that you probably notice is that even though there is already some stuff there growing, around them there's more or less a mixture of aggregate with some probably more like a half-inch rock. So to make it nicer, what we want to do is essentially just add nicer rock, bigger rock. Now, of course, there's different kinds of that rock, and yes, depending on the area, it is going to make it hotter. But in this case, that really is not much of a concern, because in this area, particularly of the country, it is going to be hot anyways. So adding a bit more of stone is really not going to change much. So what could you do to just give it a bit more of interest? Keep it in mind that if you were to do this, it is going to hurt if you touch any of this, either cactus or any of these guys. So you want to be careful. But in this case, you would really want to get two types of stones, one next to the house that would give you a bit of that contrast. Keep it in mind that a lot of this area, their architecture is to be more earthy tones, so a lot of them are going to be more within the oranges to browns to even reds. So in this particular case, it's going to be more of a brown, kind of brown red color of stucco that the house has. So what you can do is that right next to it, maybe put something small like a 3/4 inch, maybe a gray, just to give them again that sort of contrast. And so that could be in an area where you have the stepping stones. Now away from that, next to the sidewalk, which in this case from the house to the sidewalk, it's only about 8 feet or so of space, so not a ton to work with. And that's even better, because all you're doing is just making some nice lines. So next to the house, you would have something like a gray stone, like a 3/4 inch, and then next to the sidewalk, you want something bigger, where you can again do something like a granite, or maybe even a river rock. But in this case, you want to have something more earthy tone, again similar to the area. So maybe some browns, maybe some pinks, and some reds. There are different kinds of stones out there, so it will depend on your taste. But in this case, just to give them that contrast of colors, you already have some greens, so now you just want to add a little bit more of that on the ground, as opposed to just having dirt. And keep in mind that this is just to make it just looking cleaner and nicer. You're really not going to spend a lot more money. I mean, you are going to spend, of course, some money, but not a ton more. You already have the basics there. Of course, right now I'm drawing this to give you an idea of what I'm trying to tell you, but this is just my opinion, and I should say that I'm not trying to bash on anybody, especially if you live in areas like this, or even Arizona, where we know that a lot of things just don't grow, and a lot of the things that grow there naturally are going to be one hardy, but they are going to be also thorny or spiky to some degree. So we already know that part. So in this case, adding just hardscape would just make it look cleaner. Yes, if you are from the area, you are going to be so used to that, rock on rock, just from one color to the next. And unfortunately, that is going to be a lot of the times the case in the better thing or better solution for the area, just because of the amount of water that you are going to get naturally. So with that being said, I just want to leave you that thought here. If you happen to live in that area, of course, it is going to depend a lot on the property itself. This happens to be, just longer, where you can really just put only so many things. If your property is way bigger, then yes, you would have more of a space to even put maybe an area for like a patio, maybe even some other kinds of trees, and that would work for your area. Keep it in mind that you want something that's gonna consume low amounts of water. But this here is the design that just came up. Again, just want to give my thoughts on this. Anyways, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Do you live in an area like this? Let me know in the comments, and let me know what you guys use over there. What is your selection of shrubbery that you would use if you are either thinking of moving to somewhere like this, or if you already live there, what you are currently using. Of course, there are different kinds of shrubs, so many out there, and some will give you more color. So let me know in the comments, and that is it for the video. I've been traveling a little bit. That is the reason why last video was more of a vlog, which I should have mentioned, but I didn't. But if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Just a bit quick getaway from the cold, and now I'm back. So anyways, guys, thank you very much for the love. I will see you guys next time. Have a good one. Take care. Bye bye.